Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. Maui Jim Sunglasses, the choice of the best captains. Shimano Rods and Reels, fish with the best. Shimano. And by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Here's Pete Gray and Rock Cod Rick Maxa.
Welcome back. Hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Pete Gray here with Rock Cod Rick Maxa in the Mighty 1090 studio with Mr. Doug Kern, the tackle guru himself from Fisherman's Landing Tackle. He's got this guru headband on today. It's like it says Fisherman's Landing Tackle.
Every day. What are you kidding me? Hey, we're having a great time. We're talking tackle. We're talking fun, talking fishing, and we want you to be a part of it. Come join us this morning. Phones are packed up. We're going to give you your shot this hour, 858-457-1090 or 877-792-1090. That's your chance to get through to talk to Doug, and also your shot to win an awesome prize. One lucky caller at the end of the show today is going to get a chance to go fishing and buy some new tackle at Fisherman's Landing, giving away a half-day trip to go fishing aboard the Dolphin and a $50 gift card to Fisherman's Landing Tackle Shop. Your chance at the end of the show,
Fishing
right?
And shopping.
A little shopping spree, some
all
new tackle.
the same one-stop place.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, let's hit the water. We got the man, Captain Buzz Brisnine of the Prowler, is on the line right now. Good morning, Buzz.
Good morning, Rick, Pete, and Doug.
Good morning,
What's
Buzz.
better than talking good fishing and good tackle?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, talking about being on the Prowler for a day and a half, how'd that go?
You know, fishing was a little slow, and I think that had to do with the unsettled weather that one of your previous callers mentioned. The good part was that the quality of fish we caught was excellent. It was 20 to 30 pound yellowfin tuna.
Nice.
And there was signs of more around. When they popped up late in the evening, there were good schools to be seen. So I think with nicer weather in the forecast, there's going to be nicer bites.
Nice. That's a great of fish. And
Absolutely.
it is still May.
Right?
You know, that's the thing that we all have to remind ourselves. We're catching yellowfin in local waters in May.
Gotta love it.
So cool.
Love it.
Is it take a day and a half right now to do the job?
I think so, especially when the stuff is at 75 to 80 miles and it doesn't come up until 5 or 5:30 in the evening.
Yeah, I would say so.
So what are you saying? If the sun would have stayed up just another hour, you probably really would have roped them, huh?
Oh, we'd have loved another hour last night. we were getting every minute we could out of it.
That's cool, Buzz.
That's great. So what's next for the Prowler, Buzz?
Well, we just got in this morning off a day and a half trip, and we have 2 at the end of the week. We'll be fishing on Friday and fishing on Sunday this coming weekend on day and a half trips on the Prowler.
All right. Now, how do we get a booking on the Prowler out of Fisherman's Landing?
Call Fisherman's Landing at 619-221-8500 and ask for the Prowler.
Great job, Buzz. Stoked to hear a Prowler already on the yellowfin this early in the year. Just awesome. I think we're just in for such a rad year this year.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is just the very beginning of a great one.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Hey, Buzz, we can book those online, too, right, at fishermanslanding.com?
Thank you, Pete. I forget that, but you're right. Absolutely.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks, Buzz.
Indeed. Thanks, Buzz. Thanks for the report. Glad you got them.
Great show, guys. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate the call.
All right, well, the phones are absolutely packed up. Everybody wants to talk to Doug. How about we talk to Howard, who's calling us from San Diego this morning. Howard, thanks for getting us started off here in hour number 2.
Hi, gentlemen. Good morning, Pete, Rick.
Good morning,
Doug.
Howard.
Outstanding program as always. I have a question: is how I need to know how to fix the lure of the popper, please.
Oh, the popper,
The
yeah.
popper.
We, over the years, when the yellowfin come, I've seen it, and the popper is one of the most effective ways to catch a tuna, and then you'll go a decade without it happening. Well, last year, again, those fish were all over the popper. I'm going to say our most common size locally is probably about a 5-inch popper, but, just about any size would do the trick. And you've got to have a rod that'll cast it. Poppers are fairly light, so I'm not even opposed to going to a 9-foot rod, but 25 or 30-pound test. You want to have enough beef to fight a nice fish if you hook one, but you've got to be able to get that popper out there. So an 8 to even a 9-foot rod, 25, 30. If the fish are more aggressive and closer to the boat, give them 40 if you want to. And there are various methods you can use, but you cast it out there. Keep in mind that if you can get in a position where the fish are downwind, you can cast further downwind. It's real tough to cast a popper into the wind. And so, wait for the boils, wait for the birds, just like any type of fishing. You want to see some fish there. And then make your cast. And you can do a straight wind and the thing will pop, or you can just rip it, crank to get those violent pops. And you'll get a lot of fish boiling on that. Sometimes you'll see 20, 30 fish chasing it, and they won't commit. And even when they do commit, they don't always get the hook. So you've got to, don't get too excited and stop cranking when you get a boil. Keep going until one finally finds the hook, and then the rest is, game on.
It's so much fun. Hey, that's a good scenario on popper fishing for sure, and we certainly hope that this year could be a good one for it.
It's going to be. I'd almost bet on it. As long as if the fish are up and you're fishing a popper, you got to fish it to catch a fish on it.
Yeah. What's amazing about popper fishing? It's amazing how big of a popper.
Yes.
Right? Officially, a yellowtail. If you go to our website and look at our YouTube channel, and we got into this wide open Jack Crevalle popper fishing thing in Panama, and those fish were 15 to 20 pounds, and they were eating like 8, 9 inch
the popper
poppers,
you'd catch a 200-pound tuna with.
Speed, yeah.
Yeah,
so there's no reason why a 30-pound yellowfin can't eat a big popper.
Absolutely.
Can throw a long way.
Absolutely. Those fish eat mackerel all the time. That's an 11-inch long bait. So
getting on that, I know at Fisherman's Landing we have there's not a funner way to catch a tuna than a popper, and we're into that for sure. There's like an entire wall dedicated to the popper, and we have probably 5 different manufacturers, and then within those manufacturers, obviously multiple sizes, and then within that again, 5 different colors. So, Halco's, we got multiple different styles, and then within those styles, multiple different sizes, and then within all those sizes, half a dozen colors of each one, and that's Halco and Williamson and Braid and Shimano Orcas and and Strike Pros. There's probably 100 different poppers in the shop.
And I know you guys have seen this, but there are times where the popper outfishes every other method on the boat, live bait, any kind of iron, and it's just another one of those methods to have in your arsenal so that you can be versatile when something else isn't working. It's worth giving that a try.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. Appreciate that.
All right. Hey, with that, it's time to find out what's going on the water. It's time for our FishDope.com report with the man. Captain Dave Hansen is on the line, sponsored in part by Fisherman's Processing in San Diego. Get the finest fish processing while you wait from your local, your long range, or your private boat trip. They have taken the San Diego processing business to new levels with superior service, superior products, and innovations like pre-booking your order and those great new tuna burgers. You can friend them on Facebook at Fisherman's Processing, or for more details, check fishermansprocessing.com. The man, our FishDope.com reporter, your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen is on the line. What's up, Dave?
Hey, good morning, Rick, Doug, Pete.
Morning, Dave.
Morning.
Finally, we have something to talk about. I'm so excited. As you know, Pete, I'm pretty excited about what happened yesterday. I text Pete right away.
Yeah, it was a nice photo.
Guys, we've been talking about this for the last 3 weeks. The wind, the weather. Just hang in there, though. As soon as it stops blowing, something good's going to happen. Well, yesterday it happened. Guys, the water got warmer. We had a phenomenal amount of wind for 3 weeks, and that's why you can throw away the history books. Nothing means nothing anymore. The wind blew for 3 weeks. The water got warm. It got 67 degrees. So nothing makes sense. Anybody that you talk to, that all the old timers will tell you, if the wind blows, the water gets cold. Well, it didn't happen, guys. The water's 67 degrees off the Dana Point. It's purple, and there's a bunch of fish in it. The yellowtail average about 20 pounds up to about 34 pounds is what we caught yesterday. There's bluefin tuna on the 209. One of my buddies caught 2 fish there right at gray light yesterday, which is incredible. He was out there looking. He was going to be the first guy on the kelp patty. As soon as you could see, spot a breaking bluefin. They each threw a bait on it. They each got a fish. 18 pounds in it.
That is so rad.
18 and a 25.
Nice.
So cool.
Nice.
And today, everybody's going to be out there, so you're going to see some phenomenal stuff going on today. There's going to be big coverage. Everybody's out looking offshore finally. So who knows what we're going to see. So keep an eye on Fish Dope. Danny's staying right up on it. He's got the secret channel on the radio, and he knows what's going on. The minute I got on the radio and talked to Calvin yesterday, Danny was calling me on the phone.
I'll tell you what. Danny and FishDope.com has been updating. I've been watching it every day, like three times a day. He's been updating 3-4 times a day.
Yep.
As he hears stuff, he updates. So that's what you get when you get FishDope.com. Constant updates, especially when the fish are biting. Now, Dave Hansen, I have a little bone to pick with you. You said, finally, we have something to talk about? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right?
It's already been an amazing year.
No, I know, but we had a little bit of wind the last couple weeks.
Yeah, no, I know.
We were all tied to the dock watching the Whitecaps. So.
Yeah, I hear you. Indeed.
That's all I'm talking about.
I got you. Well, and this week looks like way better weather. So, FishDope.com. If you don't have a membership, FishDope.com. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, right.
You better get one.
Get it.
$20 off right now. FishDope.com lasts 365 days, and use the code HOOKUPNOW, lowercase, no space, HOOKUPNOW, and you get Fish Dope for an entire year at $20 off. And Dave, how do we go fishing with you?
Well, if you guys would like me to come with you on your boat and go fishing with you on your boat, you can give me a call at 949-374-0786, or you can look me up on the web at yoursaltwaterguide.com. Just so you know, though, Pete, if you guys are going to go out on a 40-foot boat with 8 people, I'm not coming. That's what happened today. That's why I'm at home right now. I'm not going with 8 guys on a 40-foot boat. Sorry, guys. That's just the deal.
What's the max?
Oh, it's got to make sense. You got to be able to stand up.
Yeah, there you go.
It's got to make sense, and you got to be able to stand up, guys.
There you go. All right, Dave. Thanks. Appreciate that. We'll talk to you next week. There's only one.
There's only one.
Thank goodness, right?
That is for sure. Hey, well, the phones are packed. I know everybody's really excited to talk to Doug, so why don't we do that? Let's jump right back into the phones, this time talking to Dan from Encinitas. Good morning, Dan. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I got a couple tackle questions for Doug. I'm kind of on the fence between the Torium 16 and the 20. I do a lot of half-day to 2-day fishing, so I wanted to find out, going Power Pro backing, and then go from 20-pound test for my half-day, and then to a 40-pound for maybe a day and a half. Would I just be getting more capacity?
Yeah, I'm just going to venture to say that if you have a lot of gear, say you've got, 6, 8, 10 rod and reel outfits, then you can pinpoint what you're going to do. If you have very few outfits, it's your first one, or maybe you're supplementing, into your second one, you always take into consideration what your other outfits are, but the 20 is going to be a much more versatile reel because you can do that 20-pound test, but then you've got enough line capacity to get up to the 40-pound test. So I'm going to say that, if this is your first, second, third outfit and you don't have anything of that size, that probably the 20 is the way to go. Now, if you already have a good outfit that'll handle 30 and 40, the 16 is a little smaller, a little narrower, probably going to cast a bait slightly better because the weight of the spool is a little bit less, and also the line is not traveling as far back and forth on the spool when you cast or retrieve. So it's a little bit more of a pinpoint reel for that 20, 25-pound test. But I would say that definitely the 20 size is a much more versatile reel because you can get that little extra line capacity. You can fish up to 40-pound test.
But that said, Ryan, our casting guru at our Shimano casting contest at the Ford Live broadcast at Encinitas Sport a couple weeks ago, was using the Torium 16.
Yes.
Nobody backlashed it. Not one person.
That's the first time
Wow.
in the history
that's
of
never happened before.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah.
Because those things free spool like crazy.
Yeah.
I will tell you, a narrower reel tends not to backlash as much because you don't end up piling the line up in the middle. And what happens on a wider reel, thumb gets a little lazy, you pile the line up in the middle, and those loose loops of line fall off into the trenches on the side, and then you get a backlash. So definitely the narrower reels backlash less frequently.
And with lines like Power Pro, you can put a lot of capacity on it.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
What's
One
that, Dan?
question, I heard Ricky talking yesterday about putting reel seats on cork jig sticks.
Right, on cork tape?
Yep.
Yeah, and I just acquired a 9.6, and I was looking to put a reel seat on that. How much would that run at the shop?
If the rod already has guides on it, it can be a little tricky because most jig sticks are fairly thick, in the butt section. You can't get the reel seat over it from the butt end. If it's a new rod, it's not a problem at all because you slide that reel seat down from the tip. So in that, in that case, you're looking at $25, $30, something like that. If you got to go from the butt end, you may not be able to do it.
We were talking about the Terramar install
right.
on a skinnier butt section, and exactly like Doug's saying there, that's the thing is, that when we were talking about with Benny yesterday, a Terramar has such a nice skinny butt section that it's easier to go from the back end forward. If it's a traditional fiberglass jig rod, the butt section's so big you can't fit a reel seat, or at least the reel seat that would fit would be just way too inappropriately large.
Bring your rod in, check it out. But what if it's a Terramar? How much is that?
It's like $40.
That's it.
Yeah, $40.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot for the call. Very good questions, Dan. Appreciate that. Hey, we're having a sale on our website, hookup1090.com. You go to the shop page, and the sale ends a week from today. So you want to get on it if you want some custom cedar plugs, AFCO travel shirts, the 100% cotton zip hoodie, which is basically at our cost right now, AFCO performance shirts, the AFCO shorts, the MO1L, all with the Let's Talk Hookup, either yellowtail or tuna logo on it. And that sale, again, it's quantities limits while supplies last, and it's going to go through next Sunday. So check it out on our shop page, hookup1090.com, and go shopping.
Yeah, do it to it. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. The phone lines are still packed up. We're going to be taking a big block of your calls. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
Whitney from Mammoth Lakes, California. Come on up, the water's fine, is what the Eastern Sierra is touting. And in Mammoth Lakes, it's much more than just the water. This summer, our 4 lakes will be stocked with almost 16,000 pounds of healthy fighting trout. From fishing and biking to hiking and horseback riding, there's a legendary story waiting for adventurers of all ages in Mammoth Lakes. Start planning your next adventure at visitmammoth.com. That's visitmammoth.com.
Hi, this is Rick Jensen with the Sport Fishing Financial Group. It was really great meeting many of you at the Fred Hall shows and Day at the Docks. We're finding that the sport fishing community likes the plan to move our offices offshore, and we're already getting out on the water. Come join us and learn how I can add value to your personal investment portfolio or business retirement plan. Or if you own a business and don't have a retirement plan, let's get one started. I invite you to come aboard and become the newest member of the Sport Fishing Financial Group. Give us a call at 949-481-1807 or visit us on the web at sportfishingfinancial.com.
Great boats, free parking, and a fully stocked tackle shop. Just a few of the reasons Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top charter boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Eclipse, Apollo, Outer Limits, Pacific Star, El Gato Dos, Alexis, Pride, Privateer, Tribute, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth Sea Watch in San Diego offer the finest half, 3/4, and full-day trips available. Check out the full-service tackle store at Seaforth Sport Fishing. And it's all run by fishermen for fishermen. 1717 Quivira Road, just off Mission Bay Drive in Mission Bay. Book online at seaforthlanding.com.
My Angler H2O. I will never use that fakey fluorescent pink bait or drag my hula popper through the mud. I will outmaneuver drought-exposed stumps, rocks, and submerged station wagons. And outsmart the ravenous river otter. I will save water by taking shorter showers for higher lakes. And I will always, always wear my life jacket.
What's your H2O? Tell us at BoatCalifornia.com. The California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways reminds you to wear it, California.
What a tuna and yellowtail season last year. Many say the best in 30 years. Could this season be even better? Don't be caught without the right gear. Now is the time to stock up on the trolling lure that proved to be the best. X-Rap Magnum by Rapala. Every X-Rap Magnum runs perfect right out of the box. They all have extreme action and a controlled deep diving aggressive swimming motion. The large diving lip partners with premium BMC hooks and an irresistible rattle. The X-Rap Magnum by Rapala can be trolled at high speeds without rolling or kicking out at depths to 15 feet. Bottom line, the X-Rap X-Rap Magnum is the ultimate trolling lure for Southern California and Baja saltwater fishing. With a textured translucent body, internal holographic foil, and 3D holographic eye, X-Rap Magnums are irresistible to saltwater game fish. Available in a variety of colors and sizes. No matter what you choose, the fish can't resist X-Rap Magnum by Rapala. Ask your local tackle dealer which is the hottest color and size and start catching more fish. See the entire line at rapala.com.
Cast Tours is a family-owned and operated travel company that specializes in taking you to great fishing destinations. They take pride in providing the best and most affordable vacation packages available. For over 20 years, Cast Tours has been creating unique sport fishing and vacation trips. Whether it's a fishing trip, a family vacation, or an adventure, they will provide you the service and value you deserve. Call Cast Tours at 800-593-6510 or check casttours.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
Oh, we just heard you just got information from Henry on the Everingham Brothers bait barge there.
Yeah, Henry was just saying to all the, just kind of telling all the guys that the latest loads of bait have had a lot of chove in there, and obviously, you want to
nice size.
Yeah, it's been good chove. He said 3/4 day guys took 5-inch anchovy, and that there is still definitely sardine for sure. Not saying that there's not, but a savvy angler has got to be prepared at least right now for the anchovy. And the same thing happened last year. And I would say there's one thing that we can all know. If whatever the best bait is, those guys catch it for sure.
Yeah.
There is nobody like Everingham Brothers. We are so lucky to have those guys. And even just stuff like that, getting info, ahead of time, they're so good about it. But as of right now, if a guy's going fishing, you should definitely be prepared with your anchovy gear. A lighter rod, a smaller spool, maybe a longer rod. Maybe last year you made the investment in that spinner because you wanted something to fish chovy / poppers with. Whatever that scenario is, just don't go on knowing that you're going to have 40-pound and 4/0 hooks. At least have your 20-pound outfit in a number 2. And if you don't break it out, well then hey, no problem. But a savvy guy's got to be ready for both scenarios.
No doubt about it, right? You going to be ready, Doug?
I'm always ready for that. I grew up fishing anchovies.
Yeah,
and one
so
thing
did
you
I.
learn too, anchovies, you can carry many more baits in your bait tank,
Yeah.
so it's much better for chum, especially on a private boat.
No question.
And if you can get those fish going, that's the time to break out your popper, your flat fall jig, anything like that. You can fish a little heavier line if you see the bigger models rolling around, but that anchovy makes wonderful chum.
And you look at what all this stuff is eating. The yellowtail, the bluefin, the yellowfin. They're all eating little tiny baits.
True.
So guess
giant
what?
spots of that inch-long anchovy. Yeah.
So that's what they're on.
Yep.
So feed them what they want.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
and
thanks, Henry, for that information. You're a great guy. We sure appreciate all the support you give us.
That's for darn sure. Hey, let's jump right back into the phones. They're packed up. This time we're going to talk to Cliff, calling us from Lakewood. What's up, Cliff? Welcome to the show.
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing this morning?
Good, Cliff. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, I received my sweatshirt yesterday in the mail, and I got that Salk suntan lotion. So that's really great. The sweatshirt's really nice. It's nice and thick and zippered up.
I love those sweatshirts. They're really nice. 100% cotton.
$5 is a good deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Yeah, that's what I say. That's what they cost us. So we're just kind of closing them out. Not closing them out, but we're just getting them out.
Thinning them out.
Thinning them out.
Making a deal. It's all about the deal.
We're making a deal.
I have a question for Doug. Doug, what's the difference on a flat fall and the butterfly jig or the laser minnow?
Okay, that's a good question. So let's start with the butterfly jig, which was introduced a few years ago as a vertical jigging system, mainly for yellowtail in our area, but also the tuna will eat that just fine. And it was kind of a specialized thing. It sinks really fast, gets down to the deeper water, 100, 150, 200 feet. And it was a very specific technique that you had to impart the proper action to get the maximum success with. And that was kind of a jerking motion up and down while you're reeling, and it would give that jig a very erratic motion side to side that was very effective and still is on yellowtail and tuna. And so in the same series, the butterfly series, they've come out with some different things. Well, the flat fall is a jig that kind of sinks horizontally. The bait stays horizontal as opposed to a vertical presentation. And it has a very specific action. It almost kind of surfs down out to the side and then back to the other side. And it doesn't require nearly as much action imparted by the angler. It has its own action. And so, the captain says, okay, we got meter marks at 100 feet. So you cast it downwind or drop it straight down, and let the thing start sinking, and you're ready at the reel because they'll eat it on the sink most often. When you get down to that 75, then 100 feet, then 125 feet, you didn't get a bite, you put the reel in gear, and all you have to do is just kind of reel it back up through the 100-foot zone where those fish are. You don't have to do any kind of crazy action, and they will hit it on the retrieve. So you get it back up to 75 feet, no bite, you take it out of gear, it starts surfing down, and all of a sudden it stops, boom, you're on. So it's kind of just a very easy retrieve up and down through the bite zone.
And we want to get them while they're available, because I know you have them, Fisherman's Landing Tackle, and other tackles have them.
We are told it may be scarce again. We took on maybe 1,000 jigs, and they're vanishing, basically. I mean, every day they're vanishing. So
get it now.
We're super hopeful. We've got another couple thousand on order, but we may or may not get those. So, and they can be fished also on the slide. So, again, you got to be careful not to mess up the trollers, but, you know, if you know the proper slide technique and the boat will allow it, those flat falls will work on the slide.
Yeah.
And then the laser minnow, the last one, it can be used on the slide, or you cast it downwind, typically in the tuna bite, let it sink down there to that 100 feet, and then they'll hit it on the sink, but they also will hit it on the kind of faster retrieve coming back to the boat.
Fast retrieve?
Yes.
Okay.
Fairly fast. I
All
mean,
right.
you don't have to be crazy, but
yeah.
6-to-1 reel, medium.
They swim fast.
Medium fast. Yeah, they do.
All right. Thanks a lot for the phone call this morning.
Bob and Santee, you're up next. Another very patient caller. Bob, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Hey, good morning, guys. It's been a very, very informative show so far, and I'm kind of glad that I'm not the only one that fishes a J-hook like a circle hook.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think
works wonders.
It does. I mean, it's there's no reason to swing unless you have a bait that you have to pull the hook out of, like a mackerel.
Right. My reason for calling is trying to be, environmentally, efficient. What do we do? I know Berkeley years back had you could drop your line off and Berkeley would pick it up, but what do we do with all of our leftover monofilament line that we have, stuff that we've stripped off reels for years and years and years?
Well, fortunately, we're using way less monofilament than we used to, and the spectra pretty much lasts forever. So right there, the fishing community has cut down on the amount of monofilament getting into the environment. When you take monofilament off of your reel, first thing, obviously, never dump it into the ocean. Animals can get tangled up in it. And, I mean, I hate to say it, but back in the day, I know guys would just strip their reel while they're underway and then cut the knot. It was the easiest way to strip your reel in 5 minutes and just let it go. Well, that's a no-no.
Yeah, not only that, it's plastic and it's illegal to dump in the ocean.
Yeah, it's never going to go away.
Never going to go away.
So basically, just be responsible. If you want to super contain it, you can put it in some kind of a plastic bag or something so that when it does go to the dump, it's it's not birds aren't getting tangled in it or whatever. But like I say, most people are using 10 or 20 feet now of fluorocarbon, and so it's just not the issue that it used to be.
And I know that at the launch ramp facilities there is a collection spot for it, both at Shelter Island Launch Ramp and in Mission Bay at Dana Landing. Right by the little information board there. There's a little PVC tube that you can put it in. If you've got a bunch, just like Doug said, you can contain it and keep it right there.
Yep.
There you go. Thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. Hey, let's talk for a minute about our Let's Talk Hookup Shimano on the water seminar aboard the Islander, the kayak trip.
Oh, yeah.
A little handful of spots still left on that trip. Hard to believe. And it's going to be Wednesday, June the 3rd, which is a week from next Wednesday.
Yep.
So it's a day-and-a-half trip, includes all the food, and you guys at Fisherman's Landing are doing all the bookings.
Yep, and I know last year the guys that went had a phenomenal time, and I'm just blown away that it's not full because the fishing is going to be so good.
How good the fishing is.
The weather's shaping up the next 10-day forecast to be very nice weather.
It's going to fill up. So you better grab your spot. Benny Florentino was talking about how incredible the calico fishing was at San Clemente Island. And the yellow fishing.
Well, that's the thing. Carl, who has worked and does work, still a little bit on the Islander and works with us in the tackle store. I was working with him last week. He said the last kayak trip that went out, virtually every angler that targeted yellows in their kayak caught them. They had, several fish around, and the only guys that didn't were the hardcore guys that never left the weeds because they wanted those big calicos. But he said there was calicos for every guy that tried. They just go, or yellows rather, for every guy that tried. They just go outside the kelp line, paddle around, slow troll their sardines, and boom, hooking yellows. I mean, it's just, they're so much fun, and where else can you get big calicos, yellows, and then the service that the Islander provides. They launch and land the kayaks for you. You have that giant swim step to make it so easy. You don't need to know anything about surf launch or anything like that. You just step from the big boat into your boat, and away you go.
Yeah, and we're going to have Ron Lane from Fast Lane there helping with instruction on the Hobie kayaks, and then Joe from Shimano will be there. He's going to bring a whole bunch of Shimano merchandise, and I'm telling you, if there's a spot left next week, I'm going.
There you go.
I'm going, because I've been on it. It's a fun trip. You don't need to be an expert kayaker as long as you're, decent in the water. I think you're and you're comfortable in the water.
The mothership right there. I mean, so you get your meals, you got your nice bunk, and then you got, bait.
And
I mean,
Clementi's such
what
a cool
more do
place
you want?
So check it out. Details are on our trips page, hookup1090.com. Go to the island, Shimano Let's Talk Hookup on the Water Seminar, kayak trip aboard the island. But better, just call Fisherman's Landing and book that trip with the guys at
sign you up.
Fisherman's Landing Tackle, Don't call the landing, call the tackle store.
Shop.
Yeah. The Fisherman's Landing Tackle, which is 619-221-8506.
Correct.
So call the tackle guys, and they will take care of you.
That's it. Back into the phones. Tom in San Diego, you're up next on Let's Talk Hookup. What's up, Tom?
Well, good morning, gentlemen. By the way, is one of you Mossback Maxa?
Don't kid.
That was a nice article in Western Outdoor News.
Very nice.
That was fun. Thanks, Tom.
I think your 45-pound, 10 ounce is probably going to hold up pretty good. My question, Doug, is I'm looking at when you stop, especially if you're out there for maybe the bluefin and they're very picky, and you want to go to your lighter setup, say a 30-pound setup. So I'm looking. I think I'm pretty well gunned up for everything heavier, but I guess I'm looking at a 30-pound Star Drag, the one that free spools the best, and I'm looking at a couple. Of course, the Torium, and then maybe the what's the one from the Fathom from Penn, and whatever else. What would you suggest possibly in terms of when you're comparing them? Something in the the $200 to $300 range.
Yep. I mean, obviously, money not being an object, Trinidad 20, something like that is you can't go wrong with. But with that said, you go to the Torium 20. That's going to be a great reel. You can have awesome drags, a lot of good gearing and cranking power. Great free spool, as you heard earlier. Doesn't sound like they're prone to backlashing as easily as some other reels that free spool well. But, I'm also going to throw in the Talica 10 as a great possibility because that is a lever drag 2-speed that free spools awesome. And, some of the bluefin running around this year have already proven to be, I know of a 70-pounder, I know of a 58-pounder, I know of several in that 30 to 50-pound range. And, it's not a $200 reel, but I want to throw it out for the others that are listening. That's a great 30-pound option. It's actually the option that I choose for most of my 30-pound fishing. Talica 10.
I love that reel.
But, all those reels, you put Spectra on there, you get plenty of line. 50 Spectra goes perfect with 30-pound tests, good connection, thin diameter, a lot of line capacity. So there's some options for you, Tom.
There you go, Tom.
Appreciate
Thanks
the phone
a lot
call.
for the call this morning. Appreciate that.
All right, next up, we're going to talk to Rudy, calling from Carlsbad. What's up, Rudy? Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Well, Rick, I didn't know you were a landowner, too,
He's got it all, man.
Thanks, Rudy.
He even has a pair of gyros.
That's right.
Yeah. That's even better.
Gyro Maxa.
I want to get a little windy here. Nobody minds a little bit. I'd like to thank my wife for staying with me for 53 years. We had our 53rd and March 31st, and, I make a joke about it. The next day, I was a little hungover. And what day was it? Well, it was April Fool's. But anyway, I thank her a lot.
Congratulations,
That's
Rudy.
cool, Rudy.
And what would you use for lures for calico bass, for one thing? And what would you use to beat Rick's 48-pound?
Okay.
God, give us a secret weapons.
Well, for the calico bass, again, you've got to just try different methods. But, the 5 to 7 inch kind of weedless swim baits are a no-brainer. You can get right down in the thick of the kelp where the big boys live. Don't overlook throwing a wax wing. Those are great surface lures when you can fish the edges and the stringers, the lanes between the stringers. As far as how to beat Rick, you just got to get out your lucky horseshoe and rub it and pray to the fish gods and then go fishing 3 times a week. And after about 10 years, you're going to catch one.
There you go. Get out there, Rudy. Thanks a lot for the call this morning. Want to talk about Tuna Wars.
Yeah.
Tuna Wars is
Doug and I
happening.
both are on the.
Oh, yeah.
Very proud to be on the Friends of Rollo board of directors, and this is a great fundraising event for Friends of Rollo, which is all about taking kids fishing. Now, get this: Team Hard merchandise aboard the Eclipse sold out.
Okay.
It's done.
I watched him on TV last night. He is good.
Yeah, he is
He's
good.
in the lead right now.
Yeah, but Mr. Wicked Pissa himself, Paul Hebert, still has a handful of spots aboard the Tribute.
Oh, no way. So
you don't want to ever discount, especially Mike aboard the Tribute. You don't want to ever discount Mike out.
That's for
So
sure.
if you want to get on the team, your only chance now is to get on Team Wicked Pissa. Spots are $1,000 a piece. All the money raised goes to Friends of Rollo. It's a 2-day trip. It's going to be Tuesday, June 16th to Friday, the 18th. And we're also going to have the captain's reception with the guys the night before at the Valley High. And, I want to thank the people at the Valley High so much. Larry, and it's just been really a great guy to work with. Larry Bauman, the owner of Valley High, is just a really, really good person to the fishing community.
Absolutely. No doubt they are.
Everything they do for
decades.
us, just fantastic. So thanks to the Valley High. It's going to be a great right on the bay, and you're going to have a chance to rub elbows with Paul Hebert and Dave Marciano, and have a chance to bid on a trip to go fishing with them in New England.
Right.
Each one of them.
That's
2
so
different
cool.
trips.
That is so
along
cool.
with a whole bunch of other stuff. $25. And the only way you can get tickets is online. The tickets are going to sell out. We're going to limit the number of people there. It's a no-host bar, and then we're going to have hors d'oeuvres available for $25. If you're already on the trip, you get 1 ticket to go. If you're bringing a companion with you, you got to buy a ticket for them if you're on the trip. So the easiest way to get tickets now is at RolloKids.com. RolloKids.org. RolloKids.org. And you can use your PayPal or your credit card. $25 right on the front page. You just click on that banner, and it takes you right there to the captain's reception. Or if you want to buy one of those last spots to go Team Wicked Pissa on that 2-day trip aboard on the Tribute, give Jim a call over at Friends of Rollo, which is 949-285-8819. 949-285-8819. So it's going to be really fun.
That is an awesome package, and it's a once in a lifetime chance. And the fishing is going to be great. So that to boot, you're going fishing anyway. Throw in a little extra, help the kids, fish with the celebs. I mean, it's a good deal.
It's really going to be fun. Yeah, indeed.
All right, next up, let's talk to Wayne, calling us from Huntington this morning. What's up, Wayne? Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Thanks, guys. Great show.
Hey, thank you, Wayne.
How you doing?
Great, Doug. Hey, if you and I are on the bow of the San Diego pulling up tomorrow, what are you grabbing to throw a jig off the rack? Are you throwing a Trinidad 28?
That's exactly what I'm throwing. Trinidad 20 is probably the number one surface iron reel. I have gone 100% exclusively to 10-foot rods. Everybody says, I can't cast one of those. When I went from my 90J to the 10-foot rods, it made my world so much easier. Wow. You're going to have a fish pulling on you on a 9 or 10-foot rod no matter what. So you just learn to deal with that. But the number one thing, you have to get hooked up. And I would find with my 90J, I was trying to whip that thing so hard to get it out there that extra 10 yards, and it just was a strain. And when I went to the 10-foot rod, I still throw a powerful cast, but it's a much easier motion and a much smoother cast, and I get way more distance for less effort, and I know that it increased my fishing ability on the surface iron. So many times you're 10, 20 yards short of that boil or the bird or whatever you're trying to hit, and so there's a lot of different 10-foot rods that you can go with. That 100 mag I've discovered has been a pretty nice rod. It's lightweight. I normally didn't like graphite rods, but this one seems to cast well. A lot of graphite rods would snap the jig so it would fly either straight or even try to launch it downward a little bit.
Or snap off.
I don't snap off my jig. But definitely the 10-foot rod, in my opinion, is the key. And don't be intimidated by it, especially on a sport boat. You've got all the room in the world. It's just not that much more difficult than a 9-foot, and it'll make your life easier. So, and I fish primarily monofilament. 40-pound test Triple X is my go-to choice. However, If you know, and this is more prevalent on private boats, that you're going to be near the kelp where they can kelp you, you've got to go with, pretty much Spectra. And you can use like 65 is probably a good pound test for that. It's a little...
So maybe have 2 rods available.
Well, I always
have one with mono and one like a Tranx with straight Power Pro.
100% of the time I have at least 2 jig sticks with me because if something fails, heaven forbid, you don't want to be without a rod.
Yeah.
So that's just standard practice.
The other thing, too, about throwing a surface iron, a lot of people don't understand, it's kind of like a golf swing. The harder you swing, the shorter it's going to go.
Yep.
Right?
It's about the timing, and it is a powerful motion.
Yes.
But you're not trying to just, kill the ball. You're not just trying to, power that thing as hard as you can. You've got to practice, and there's definitely a timing issue as to when you let go with your thumb and how you feather the line and all that.
Now, what about this? Because I hear it a lot, and I know the answer, but I want your take. People say all the time, "Well, I fish on a private boat, so I don't need a rod that long. I don't need to make that long of a cast." Regarding 10-foot rods.
Well, number one, if you can stay that extra 20 yards away from the school, you're not going to spook the fish as much. And let's face it, you get on the fish the best you can, but they're not always 20 feet from the boat. So if they're 20 feet from the boat, fine, I'll make a short cast. But if they're, 80 yards, I want to be able to get at least in the zone. So 10 foot.
There you
I
go.
agree. 100%.
Right. Totally agree.
All right. Hey, very good. Thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. Just about 30 seconds left for Kenny in Hawaiian Gardens. Hi, Kenny.
Hey, morning, guys.
Hey.
One of the callers has just pretty much answered most of my questions. But, Doug, I had a couple more questions about the flat fall.
Sure.
Now, I understand that's in the butterfly family, correct?
It is.
Okay. Are you if you're using like Power Pro and stuff, are you straight tying it, and what end do you put it on?
Well, it'll be pretty obvious when you take it out of the package which end. But as far as the Power Pro, yes, it's a good way to fish. But I'll usually put a leader on there of maybe 40-pound test of fluorocarbon. It's just a good abrasion thing. When you tie straight to a ring, a lot of times when those fish are hitting it, you catch 3 or 4 fish, the little microfibers will start to kind of come apart, and you don't realize it, but your knot's getting weaker. And so if you put that little bit of fluorocarbon on there, it'll protect you against that. And if the thing does woof it all the way down and you've got bluefin teeth on there, I mean, a 50-pounder can woof that thing down like nothing. And now you've got teeth on your line. I'd rather have it on the fluorocarbon than on the Spectra.
All right. Thanks a lot for the phone call this morning.
Good call. Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out what lucky guy is going fishing aboard the Dolphin and shopping at Fisherman's Landing Tackle with a free $50 gift card. You stay tuned. More Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know, CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere. Alaska is one of the ultimate fishing destinations in the world. This is Rock Cod Rick, and every year the one trip I look forward to is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. My dad and I have been going for over 15 years, and I just can't wait to go again. No one does it better than Kingfisher Charters. They offer the best service, the most comfortable accommodations, fantastic food, the finest fishing charter captains in all of Sitka, and the ultimate value. Sure, I've been to others, but time and time again, nobody beats Kingfisher Charters. You can catch huge halibut like the ones we do almost every year, and salmon, well, Sitka is famous for some of the best runs in Alaska. We also get plenty of rockfish and huge lingcod. And when it comes to fish processing, the best in Alaska is Kingfisher Charters. And listen to this, it's all included in your package. In fact, everything is included except the tips. It's truly amazing how the Kingfisher crew continues the quality of service they deliver year after year. Come and join me on the Let's Talk Hookup trip in June, or just go when you can. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136, or check kingfishercharters.com.
Hey, this is Captain Paul Hebert from the Wicked Pisser. My brother Bruce and I make a living catching giant bluefin tuna. In fact, I wouldn't even go fishing with any other sunglasses than Maui Jim. Put a pair of Maui Jims on and instantly the glare is gone, the UV that can damage your eyes is gone, the ocean's true colors come shining through like never before. And with more contrast and clarity, you can see the bluefin at that critical time. Take it from me. Try a pair at your local tackle shop or check out MauiJim.com. You won't believe your eyes.
Great boats, free parking, and a fully stocked tackle shop. Just a few of the reasons Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top charter boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Eclipse, Apollo, Outer Limits, Pacific Star, El Gato Dos, Alexis, Pride, Privateer, Tribute, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth Sea Watch in San Diego offer the finest half, 3/4, and full-day trips available. Check out the full-service tackle store at Seaforth Sport Fishing. And it's all run by fishermen for fishermen. 1717 Quivira Road, just off Mission Bay Drive in Mission Bay. Book online at seaforthlanding.com.
XEPRF 1090 AM, Rosarito, Baja California.
You're listening to the home of the Padres.
Padres are playing some kind of baseball.
San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Right, the big winner of the trip on the Dolphin, half day at a Fisherman's Landing, and the $50 gift card to Fisherman's Landing Tackle is going to Bruce in Lemon Grove. Bruce, congratulations. You're going to love fishing on the Dolphin. You got $50 to spend in the tackle shop.
Yeah,
nice.
Lucky guy, indeed.
Lemon Grove.
And
He can be there in 25 minutes.
I don't think we ever made, Bruce never made it on
Yeah,
the
he
air.
was on hold
but
right till the very end there.
Everybody who calls, it's still on hold, and if we can't take you, you're still eligible, and Bruce is a classic example of that.
There you go.
That you're eligible to win that. So thank you all for all the callers out there, and thank you, Doug Kern, for all your knowledge, and appreciate all you do for Let's Talk Hookup and all the stuff that you do at Fisherman's Landing Tackle.
Well, glad to do it. Thank you guys. And, hey, if you didn't make it on the air, feel free anytime to call the tackle shop, talk to myself, Rick, one of the guys as well. We can fill you in on any of the tackle, the techniques, whatever. Best way to get a hold of us is just come on down and hang out in the tackle store or give us a call at 619-221-8506. You can check out our website at saltwatertackle.com. And let's go fishing.
I like it.
It's
I like
time
it.
to go right now, and it's time to talk about next weekend because we're going to have a couple great shows next Saturday and Sunday. Next Saturday, Pat McDonald from Western Outdoor News, the main man at Western Outdoor News, will be here talking all kinds of tournaments and fishing there. And then next Sunday, all the way from Baja California, Mr. John Ireland from Rancho Leonero will be in the studio with us. Thanks for listening today. We'll see you next week. Stay tuned. Bike Week Radio is next right here on the Mighty 1090.